Hi, Teresa back. Today we're doing the very last page of our sewing samples. Now, I have actually finished the sample. I had a lot of time today to sit alone and do stuff, so I got carried away and I've actually finished this. Didn't take too long. Did it in two parts. I did this part, a smaller piece, and applied this over this background. This is a background, and as I said, I applied this. Now I've put a mock pocket here. This is paper. It's to give the illusion of a pocket. I actually had the pocket here, if you can see that, but while I was doing this, sewing this, I suddenly had inspiration for the pocket. This was to go onto the pocket, but I thought, no, I have another plan for the pocket. So I've improvised. I've even tried to put the jean stitch in around here in running stitch, and it does actually overlap the edge of the page, so I've had to tidy up the back with a little bit of lace. So I do apologise for not using the pocket as intended, and I also apologise for my nails as well. I've noticed they look really shocking. I've been using PVA glue for the last 2 hours, and I'm afraid it stuck to my nails more than it did to the fabrics and the paper I was using. But anyway, let's crack on. So the background was initially this square of Ada, white Ada. I believe it was 12 counts to the inch. Now you can only see parts of the Ada here. Can you see that? That's the only piece of Ada that is showing. Oh, maybe there, a tiny bit there and a tiny bit there, but that is just where I've forgotten to stitch over or applique over. You might think it's a waste of Ada, but it had been used and unpicked, so I don't have a problem with using that. I'm recycling it. This part here is appliqued. That was the first bit to be appliqued. Now there is nothing on here that you haven't done before. You are scanning it. You've done everything that is on here. Maybe, I don't know if you can see these pieces here. There's a strip there and one there and one there and a couple here. Let me see if I can blow that up a bit. Right, I don't think that's made much difference. Here, that is couched, and all it is a strip of fabric twisted, just twisted and couched down. So there's a nice twist to this, although you can't actually see it, but it's definitely there. This piece here, leaves, I love leaves and nature and trees, as I said before. These are all leaves, and it all looks like chain stitch. Well, it's manufactured. It was on a lace backing. I've carefully cut round it. There's still a little bit of netting there. There's no lace, but there's netting, and this is what I was left with. So I've put that down. Everything you can see is appliqued and sewn down with, as I mentioned earlier, couching, running stitch, feather stitch here, feather stitch there. This is more like a little speckling stitch, and if you remember, the speckling stitches are just busy little running stitches, and they look like seeds. Sorry, seed stitch, not speckling, seed stitch, and they look like little seeds, and they're all busy going different directions. I have to look up and see what speckling stitch is. I can't quite put my finger on speckling stitch. I should do that later. Here we have some lace, and that I believe is antique gold lace. And then we have all the little pinwheels. And as you can see, they do look lovely, don't they, the pinwheels? Once again, feather stitch, some cross stitch here with different sizes, different size legs, long legs set against short ones. There's quite a lot of freedom going on here. This piece here was inspired by the sea, the seaweed. I had a photograph, and I always think feather stitch looks a bit like seaweed or a tumbling climber. And this is a little bit of tie-dyed fabric that we used a couple of projects ago, the vintage tie-dye, and that was really based on the sea. And I liked that. Oh, there is blanket stitch around the edge, and of course the buttons. This I thought was a nice contrast to the blue. Now I have tried to bring the blue over just occasionally, just to make it flow a little bit, but to be honest, I wasn't really worried about that. I just let my needle do what it wanted to do, and this is what it did. So that is that, and then I've stuck it down on the card. Now I've also put 3 little cross stitches there, if you can see them. So this is really the shortest video of the lot. It's just one part and just a couple of minutes. There's no need for me to go into great explanations about how to do this and how to do that, because you know, and by me explaining all that, it means that I'm keeping you from starting this or continuing with a task or doing something else, and it's keeping me from carrying on with my journal. So I'm going to say goodbye here. Thank you for sticking right to the end. If you've been following, thank you very much, and I do hope you've enjoyed it. As you know, this is just the sample folder. The next journal, I say folder, that's teacher talk, isn't it? I mean journal. Do excuse me. I think it's what I spent my career doing. Yeah, that's right. Teaching. So the next journal, or it might even be a folder, will incorporate all these. But hey ho, don't go. We haven't finished this one yet. So for the next couple of videos, we will be dressing the pages, leaving some for journaling and just embellishing others. So until I see you again, keep safe, have a good time whatever you're doing, and enjoy your sewing, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care now. Bye bye.